Emma Winters stood at the edge of Millbrook's dusty bus stop, her thin coat doing little to protect her from the biting morning cold. The industrial town stretched out before her, a landscape of faded buildings and broken dreams. At 32, she carried more weight than her slender frame suggested, the weight of survival, of hope, of a single mother's unbreakable determination. Her daughter Lucy's worn sneakers were a constant reminder of their struggling circumstances. The factory closure 6 months ago had stripped away everything: her steady job, their sense of security, and the comfortable life they once knew. Each morning, Emma would wake before sunrise, carefully preparing Lucy's school lunch, making sure every penny stretched as far as possible. The job applications scattered across their small apartment told a story of repeated rejections. Each manila envelope represented hours of hope, carefully crafted resumes, and desperate prayers. Emma's hands, once soft from office work, were now rough from odd jobs: cleaning houses, walking dogs, anything to keep food on the table. Millbrook wasn't kind to single mothers. The town's economic decline had turned opportunity into a rare commodity. People looked at her with a mixture of pity and judgment, a young woman alone, struggling to raise a child in a world that seemed increasingly indifferent. Lucy was her beacon of hope. A bright 10-year-old with her mother's resilience and her father's curious eyes, she never complained about their circumstances. She understood, in a way no child should have to, the delicate balance of their survival. "Mommy, do you think we'll be okay?" Lucy would ask sometimes, her small hand holding her mother's tightly. Emma would always smile, pushing away her own fears. "We're stronger together," she would respond, a mantra that kept her moving forward. The community center became their sanctuary. Though they couldn't afford much, Emma volunteered whenever possible. She would help organize children's programs, clean floors, and assist with administrative tasks. It wasn't about the recognition, but about showing Lucy that dignity wasn't measured by money, but by effort and character. Her recent interviews had been brutal. Employers looked at her resume, gaps from taking care of Lucy, limited recent work experience, and saw nothing but risk. Emma knew she was capable, intelligent, willing to work harder than anyone. But in Millbrook's tough job market, those qualities meant little without the right connections. The morning bus would take her to another potential job interview. She had prepared meticulously, her only good blazer carefully pressed, her shoes polished, her resume printed on the best paper she could afford. Hope was a delicate thing, easily crushed, but Emma had learned to nurture it carefully. Lucy's school was another source of both pride and worry. The local public school was underfunded, but her daughter remained top of her class. Emma would spend evenings helping with homework, turning their tiny kitchen table into a classroom of possibility. Their tiny apartment told stories of sacrifice. Second-hand furniture, carefully mended clothes, books from thrift stores, each item carefully chosen, each penny thoughtfully spent. The walls were decorated with Lucy's artwork, splashes of color that spoke of childhood dreams untouched by their financial struggles. Emma's phone buzzed, a text from her sister offering moral support. Family was her only real safety net. Her parents had passed away years ago, leaving her to navigate life's challenges alone. But she was determined to create a different narrative for Lucy. As she waited for the bus, Emma closed her eyes and took a deep breath. The morning was cold, the prospects uncertain, but her spirit remained unbroken. She was more than her circumstances. She was a mother, a survivor, a woman who refused to be defined by temporary setbacks. The bus approached, its diesel engine breaking the morning silence. Another day of possibility awaited. Another chance to prove that resilience wasn't just a word, but a way of living. Lucy would be waiting at home, her homework ready, her smile bright. And for Emma, that was everything. The E&D, the community center, stood like an old soldier in Millbrook's worn downtown, its brick walls holding countless stories of struggle and hope. Emma Winters had been volunteering here for months, her presence quiet but consistent. She organized children's activities, cleaned spaces, and helped wherever needed, always with a gentle determination that caught people's attention. Tom Baker, the center's manager, was a man in his late 50s with kind eyes and hands that showed years of community work. He had watched Emma closely, noticing how she transformed simple tasks into meaningful moments for children and families. One chilly Wednesday afternoon, while Emma was helping organize a small literacy program, Tom approached her. The center was nearly empty, just a few children drawing at a distant table, their colored pencils creating small worlds of imagination. "Emma," he said, his voice warm and measured, "I've been watching how you work with the kids." She looked up, slightly nervous. Emma always felt like she was being evaluated, years of job rejections making her cautious. "Is everything okay?" Tom smiled. "More than okay. We might have a part-time position opening. Would you be interested?" The words hung in the air like a lifeline. Emma's heart raced. A real job. Not just volunteering, but actual paid work. Her mind immediately went to Lucy: new shoes, better groceries, maybe even some extra school supplies. What would the position involve, she asked, trying to sound calm while her internal world was spinning with hope. Tom explained they needed someone to coordinate youth programs, manage small administrative tasks, and help with community outreach. Her existing volunteer work had already shown she was perfect for the role. Emma's hands were slightly shaking. Part-time meant flexible hours, which would work perfectly with Lucy's school schedule. It wasn't a fortune, but it was a start. A real, meaningful start. The children continued drawing, oblivious to the life-changing conversation happening nearby. A little boy was creating a colorful landscape, his tongue slightly sticking out in concentration. Emma watched him, remembering how Lucy used to draw when she was younger. "I would love the opportunity," she finally responded, her voice steady but filled with emotion. Tom noticed the tears forming in her eyes. He understood. These weren't just tears of joy, but of relief. Relief that comes after months of uncertainty, after countless job applications, after feeling invisible in a town that seemed to have forgotten her. Their conversation continued, discussing details, potential start dates, and responsibilities. Emma listened carefully, absorbing every word. This wasn't just a job. This was a chance to rebuild, to show Lucy that persistence matters, that hope isn't just a word but a living, breathing possibility. The community center, with its faded posters and well-worn furniture, suddenly felt different. It wasn't just a building anymore. It was a place of transformation, where unexpected connections could change entire lives. As they talked, the afternoon light filtered through dusty windows, casting soft shadows. Outside, Millbrook continued its quiet rhythm: cars passing, people walking, the town's constant heartbeat continuing. Lucy would be excited. Emma imagined telling her daughter about this opportunity, about how their hard work and consistency had finally created an opening. She thought about the lessons this moment would teach, about patience, about never giving up, about finding opportunities in unexpected places. Tom's offer represented more than employment. It was recognition. Recognition that Emma's efforts mattered, that her dedication hadn't gone unnoticed. In a world that often overlooks single mothers, someone had finally seen her potential. The children continued drawing, their artwork a beautiful metaphor for possibility. Each stroke of color, each careful line represented hope, just like Emma's journey. As the afternoon progressed, Emma felt something she hadn't felt in months. A sense of belonging. A sense that perhaps, just perhaps, things were about to change. The community center held its breath, witnessing another quiet miracle of human resilience. The night was unusually cold for early autumn. Emma's small apartment felt silent except for Lucy's labored breathing. Her daughter's fever had been climbing steadily, transforming a simple illness into a parent's worst nightmare. Lucy's small body burned with heat, her cheeks flushed bright red against the pale bedroom sheets. Emma pressed a cool washcloth against her forehead, her hands trembling with worry. They had no health insurance. Medical bills were a terror worse than any illness. "It's okay, baby," Emma whispered, her voice cracking. "Mommy's here." The thermometer read 103 degrees. Emma knew this was dangerous. Her mind raced through their limited options. Emergency room meant thousands in bills, a cost they absolutely could not afford. Yet, her daughter's health was everything. Her phone showed zero balance. The part-time job at the community center hadn't started yet, and their savings were completely depleted. Emma had been carefully rationing every single penny, but medical emergencies cared nothing for careful planning. Dr. Robert Phillips was the only community doctor who sometimes worked with families struggling financially. Emma had heard stories about his kindness from other parents at the community center. Her fingers dialed his number, hope and fear dancing together in her heart. "Dr. Phillips," she said when he answered, her voice trembling, "it's about my daughter Lucy. She's very sick." The doctor's voice was calm, professional yet warm. "Bring her in immediately," he responded, understanding the unspoken panic in her tone. The local clinic was small but clean. Dr. Phillips examined Lucy carefully, his experienced hands checking her temperature, listening to her lungs. Emma watched, her entire world focused on her daughter's pale face. "Pneumonia," Dr. Phillips said finally. "We'll need some tests and likely antibiotics." Those words felt like a financial earthquake. Emma's mind immediately calculated potential costs, hundreds, maybe thousands of dollars they didn't have. Her face must have revealed her terror because the doctor's expression softened. "We can work out a payment plan," he said gently. "Your daughter needs care, not additional stress." Tears escaped Emma's eyes. Not tears of weakness, but of unexpected human kindness. In a world that had often felt harsh and unforgiving, Dr. Phillips represented something different, compassion that transcended financial transactions. Lucy received her medication. The doctor explained the treatment carefully, showing Emma how to manage her daughter's fever, what signs to watch for. His instructions were clear, his manner reassuring. Walking home, Emma held Lucy close. Her daughter's breathing was already becoming more regular, the medication slowly working its magic. The night that had seemed so terrifying was transforming into something hopeful. Their small apartment felt different now. Not just a place of struggle, but a sanctuary of love and resilience. Emma prepared Lucy's bed, tucking her in carefully, watching her sleep. The medical bill would be a challenge. But they would face it together. Emma had learned that survival wasn't about avoiding challenges, but navigating them with courage and hope. Lucy mumbled something in her sleep, her small hand reaching out. Emma held it, feeling the warmth returning to her daughter's palm. This was motherhood, raw, challenging, beautiful beyond words. Outside, Millbrook's streets remained quiet. Another night of ordinary miracles passing unnoticed. Another family finding strength in unexpected moments of connection and care. Emma sat beside Lucy, watching her breathe. Her daughter's life was a reminder they were survivors, they were strong, they would always find a way forward. The darkness of night slowly gave way to the first hints of dawn. A new day was coming, full of possibility, full of hope. The the community center became Emma's second home. What started as a part-time job slowly transformed into something much more profound, a place of purpose and possibility. Tom Baker saw something special in her, a quiet determination that went beyond simple job requirements. Her first official role involved coordinating youth programs. Emma approached each task with remarkable precision. She understood these children better than most, she knew what it meant to struggle, to hope, to dream despite limited resources. Lucy watched her mother's transformation with growing admiration. The once worried woman was becoming confident, her shoulders straighter, her smile more genuine. Emma was no longer just surviving, she was creating opportunities for others. The youth programs began to flourish under her leadership. She developed workshops teaching practical skills, budgeting for teenagers, understanding career paths, building self-confidence. Her own life experiences became her greatest teaching tool. Tom recognized her potential immediately. "You have a gift," he told her one afternoon, watching her interact with a group of teenagers. "You understand people in a way most administrators never could." Emma's background in administrative work combined perfectly with her newfound passion for community development. She learned quickly, asked thoughtful questions, and implemented innovative ideas that made the programs more effective. The community started noticing changes. Parents spoke about the new programs with excitement. Children who once felt marginalized now had spaces where they could learn, grow, and imagine different futures for themselves. Her relationship with Lucy deepened during this time. Evening conversations became rich with discussions about community, hope, and personal growth. Lucy was learning valuable lessons about resilience and purpose. Financial stability slowly returned. The part-time job, combined with occasional additional hours, meant they could breathe easier. New shoes for Lucy, slightly better groceries, small luxuries that once seemed impossible. The transformation wasn't just external. Emma was healing internally, rediscovering parts of herself she thought were lost during years of struggle. Her confidence grew, her smile became more frequent, her hope more tangible. Community members began recognizing her. "Aren't you the one who runs those amazing youth programs?" they would ask. Emma would smile, humble yet proud of the work she was doing. Tom expanded her responsibilities, seeing her potential. She began writing grant proposals, developing new community initiatives, becoming a crucial part of the center's leadership team. Lucy watched her mother with growing respect. The little girl understood something profound was happening. Her mother was not just working, but creating meaningful change. One afternoon, while organizing a career mentorship program, Emma realized something important. Her own struggles had become her greatest strength. Every challenge she had faced prepared her for this moment, for this work. The community center, once just a building, was becoming a beacon of hope for Millbrook. And Emma was at the center of this transformation, her quiet strength radiating through every program, every interaction. Her journey wasn't just about finding a job. It was about finding purpose. About proving that personal challenges could be transformed into community opportunities. Lucy would often help after school, organizing materials, learning about community work. These moments became their special time, a shared understanding of what resilience truly meant. The town was changing. Slowly, carefully, but definitively. And Emma was part of that change, her story becoming a testament to the power of persistence, compassion, and unwavering hope. As evening fell, Emma would look around the community center at the children learning, the programs running smoothly, the potential being unlocked, and feel a profound sense of achievement. She had not just survived. She had transformed. And in doing so, she was helping an entire community reimagine its own potential. Millbrook was no longer just a struggling industrial town. It was becoming a place of hope, of opportunity, of unexpected beauty. And Emma Winters stood at the center of this quiet revolution, her spirit unbroken, her hope burning bright. The END 1 year had passed since Emma's life began its remarkable transformation. The community center had become more than just a workplace, it was a symbol of hope for Millbrook's struggling families. Tom Baker stood beside her, introducing her as the new program coordinator. The room was filled with local parents, community leaders, and the children whose lives had been touched by their programs. Emma's journey from a struggling single mother to a community leader was nothing short of inspiring. Lucy sat in the front row, her eyes shining with pride. At 11 years old, she had witnessed her mother's incredible journey of resilience. The once uncertain woman who worried about paying rent had become a beacon of hope for countless families. "Our programs have helped over 200 families this year," Emma spoke, her voice steady and confident. She shared stories of transformation, teenagers who found career paths, single parents who discovered support, children who learned to dream beyond their current circumstances. The community center had become a lifeline. What started as a small part-time job had grown into a comprehensive support system. Emma's personal experiences had shaped programs that truly understood community needs. Tom watched her with pride. He had seen something special in Emma from the beginning, a combination of compassion, intelligence, and unwavering determination. Her story was proof that personal struggles could be transformed into collective strength. Lucy remembered the difficult nights. The times when they could barely afford food, when medical bills seemed overwhelming. Now, she saw her mother as a hero not just to her, but to an entire community. The room was filled with emotion. Parents who had once felt hopeless now saw possibility. Children who thought their circumstances defined them now understood that dreams had no limitations. Emma's presentation wasn't just about statistics. It was about human connection. She spoke about understanding struggle, about the power of community support, about finding hope in unexpected places. Her journey represented something larger than herself. It was a testament to the power of persistence, of believing in oneself even when the world seemed against you. The local newspaper had recently done a story about her. Millbrook's Hope, How One Mother Transformed a Community, read the headline. Emma was uncomfortable with the attention, believing the real heroes were the families she worked with. Lucy approached the podium after her mother's speech. "My mom taught me that hope isn't something you wait for," she said, her voice clear and confident. "It's something you create." The room erupted in applause. Tears mixed with smiles. Emma hugged her daughter, feeling the weight of their journey, the struggles, the challenges, the unexpected moments of grace. Millbrook was changing. The industrial town that had once seemed stuck in endless economic decline was finding new life. Community programs, local initiatives, a renewed sense of possibility, these were becoming the town's new narrative. Tom presented Emma with a special recognition. A small plaque that read, "For extraordinary community leadership." But the real reward was in the faces around her, the lives being transformed, the hope being restored. As the evening concluded, families approached Emma. They shared stories, thanked her, spoke about the difference the programs had made. Each conversation was a reminder of why she had fought so hard. Lucy helped pack up, organizing materials with the same careful attention her mother had always shown. The next generation of community leaders was being shaped right here. The community center, with its worn floors and faded walls, felt different now. It was no longer just a building. It was a home of hope, a place of transformation, a beacon of what was possible when people came together. Outside, Millbrook's streets were quiet. But something had changed. The town's spirit was different. More hopeful. More connected. More believing in the power of community. Emma looked at Lucy, then around the room. Their journey had never been just about survival. It had been about creating something meaningful, something that could change lives. As they walked home that evening, the sunset painted the sky in colors of promise. Another day of hope completed. Another chapter in their remarkable story. The end.